Have you ever thought about retiring outside the United States? Maybe somewhere like Thailand, Vietnam, Portugal, or Colombia, places where the cost of living is lower and your retirement dollars go further. But one of the biggest questions people over the age of 62 ask is this: what happens to my Social Security if I move abroad? The good news is this: for most Americans, you can absolutely receive your Social Security while living overseas. But there are a few important rules you need to understand before you pack your bags. Hello everyone, I'm the digital avatar of Dr. Joseph Williams III, a middle school principal who lives and works near Seattle, Washington. On this channel, I share ideas about financial planning, retirement strategies, and long-term wealth building, especially for K-12 educators and school leaders who want to make smarter decisions with their money. Now, before we dive in, I want to be very clear about something. I'm a K-12 educator and school leader, not a licensed financial advisor. Everything I share here is based on my own research, experience, and personal journey trying to make better financial decisions later in life. Always consult with a licensed financial professional if you need advice specific to your situation. With that said, let's talk about something more and more Americans are considering: retiring abroad while collecting their Social Security. Let's start with the big question. Can you actually receive Social Security payments if you live outside the United States? The answer is yes. If you're a U.S. citizen, you can live in most countries in the world and still receive your retirement benefits, survivor benefits, and disability benefits. In fact, the Social Security Administration currently sends payments to retirees in over 100 different countries. However, there are a couple of exceptions. Social Security payments cannot be sent to residents of Cuba or North Korea. Here's a very important tip. If you're planning to retire abroad, start your Social Security claim before you leave the United States. Technically, you can apply while living overseas, but the process can take much longer. That's because claims from outside the U.S. often go through something called a federal benefits unit, and there are not many of these offices around the world. So the smart move is simple. File for your Social Security before you fly. Start the process while you're still in the United States and save yourself months of delays. The next question is, how do you actually receive your money? The easiest solution is simply this: keep your U.S. bank account open. Social Security can deposit your payment directly into that account every month. From there, you can transfer money to your international bank using services like Wise or other global transfer platforms. If you do decide to switch to a foreign bank account, here's an important rule. Do not close your U.S. account until you confirm your first payment arrives in the new account. Bank routing errors and SWIFT code mistakes happen more often than people realize. Now let's talk about something many retirees overlook: Medicare. If you move overseas, you might think, I'll never use Medicare again, so I'll just cancel Part B and save the monthly premium. But that can be a very expensive mistake. If you ever decide to move back to the United States later, you could face a 10% lifetime penalty for every year you were not enrolled. That penalty lasts forever. So unless you are absolutely certain you will never return to the U.S. for healthcare, many experts recommend keeping Medicare Part B active. Think of it as insurance for the possibility that life changes. There's one more administrative step retirees overseas need to remember. It's called the Proof of Life Form, officially known as Form SSA 7162. Social Security occasionally sends this form to retirees living outside the U.S. to confirm that you are still alive and eligible to receive benefits. If you ignore it or fail to return it, your payments can be temporarily suspended. But here's an insider tip many people don't know. In some situations, you can complete this verification over the phone through a process called attestation. If a representative says that's not possible, ask them to reference emergency message 25004. It's a helpful policy many expats are not aware of. The reality is this: retiring abroad can be an incredible opportunity. In many parts of the world, your Social Security and retirement savings can stretch much further than they would in the United States. But the key is preparation. Understand the rules, keep your accounts organized, and make sure all your administrative details are handled before you relocate. And again, just as a reminder, I'm sharing this as a K-12 educator who has spent a lot of time studying financial planning later in life, not as a licensed financial advisor. Always make sure to consult a financial professional when making major retirement decisions. Finally, if you found this video helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other K-12 educators who may be thinking about increasing their savings and their retirement plans. I'll see you in the next video.